Bring in Tyler because I think Tyler needs to hear this too. Just saying. Guess who we're riffing on this morning to start? I know it shocked you.
Yeah.
Yeah. L'Equipe details how Igor Jesus, Luis Enrique, Thiago Almada, Jair Cunha, and Jefferson Severino were transferred to Lyon without playing a single match, apart from Almada, who was loaned out. And the deals were not registered with the LFP. None of these players ever played at the Groupama Stadium, and some, such as Igor Jesus and Jair Cunha, were later sold at bargain prices to Nottingham Forest. Textor himself confirmed the transactions, as we did yesterday. It all has to do with Textor, according to Footboom. Yes, you may as well just go ahead and drink your coffee. The American player arranged factoring deals with financial institutions to secure €100 million in cash. Factoring involves a club exchanging future receivables, such as payments from player sales or television rights, for immediate funds. Basically, I'll gladly pay you Tuesday for those funds today. But this is kind of what Leicester tried to do when they were in administration. It's like, tell you what, why don't we just go ahead and forego our TV revenue for a couple of years, and we'll try to help that with the debt. So you have receivables, such as payments from player sales or TV rights for immediate funds. In return, the institution collects the funds from the debtor. However, in this case, the debtor is Lyon. All of the players in question had agreed to join Lyon, but the transfer ban ultimately thwarted these moves. Although Botafogo retained the economic rights to the players, the factoring was successful. Lyon must therefore repay the debts owed to the players who never played in France. Creative accountant.
Creative.
Yeah. So that's opening kickoff. The stories continue with John Textor, and we were starting to this morning before I had another radio gig that I had to hop in on. I was starting to listen to the 3-hour conversation that Textor was having with the Canal do TF, and I was trying to parse through that and find the quotes that he was using in English, because once again it was Portuguese host, translator, Textor. So I was trying to find the English of John Textor and what he was saying as he was trying to relay what his thoughts were. So that's the latest with John Textor and Lyon and funds and things and receivables and 9 figures ahead of time to help try to repay debts that you've already accrued. So it is literally like Wimpy from the Popeye cartoons. It is. I'll gladly pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today, is what it seems like.
Yeah, he is
man.
He is well on his way to fraud. It's becoming like really, really sketchy because
becoming sketchy.
I mean, I think because like, look, we can, especially when you talk about millionaires and billionaires. There's always a slimy little way out, right? Like you get a normal person that goes through a transaction like this, and the debt relief companies are calling, the debtors are calling, whoever else might be calling. But with a guy like this, it's just like, all right, well, I'm going to kick the can down the road and see how long we can wait this out. But every time we hear something else about John Textor, he's deeper in the hole. And it's getting to the point where I don't know that legally it's going to be able to be ignored for very long beyond just paying the money that he owes. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I do.
It's becoming really, 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 I say sketchy. It's been sketchy, but it's getting to the point where it's like, now we might be like looking at like legit, like fraud from a legal standpoint, like from an Interpol standpoint, because we're crossing boundaries and everything else. It's wild.
Yes, that's a word to use. So, like I said, I was trying to pour through L'Equipe this morning and try to come up and translate articles quickly, like L'Equipe accusé d'avoir protégé John Textor, and try to get that into into English before I could talk about it. But the translators this morning, apparently on our laptops and our desktops, are working kind of slow. Maybe so. Saw that, and I was like, yeah, we've got to continue to talk about the story, because I talked about it yesterday with the article that came out in the Times with Matt Lawton, and Matt Lawton is really not someone that you want to have with a byline referring to you and your storylines. So we went into that, and the translation of the Canal de TF conversation about, we're partners and all this kind of stuff. And now he's looking to clarify what he said in the interview, the 3-hour interview on the Canal de TF channel. So he's looking to clarify on one part. And now apparently, according to Footboom, it's like he's pulling money from other places to cover debts and all this kind of stuff. So yeah, we're going to continue to keep our eyes on it. But yeah, as our friend Jason Stevens has said in our conversations about MCOs, it's the other things that John Texter has as a part of his portfolio that keep the soccer owners interested in dealing with John Texter. It's like you want to deal with the satellite TV and all of his other things, all of his economics and his computer interests and things like that. That's why you still hang out with the guy. He's like, what is it? Like when you're in high school, it's like, well, why are you hanging out with him? Well, he's got a great car.
Yeah.
You see that car that he's got in the parking lot? That's why we hang out with him.
He's got a cool vacation house.
Yeah. So he's got a cool vacation house. So when we go on spring break, we always go to his place. So that's kind of why you have all these other owners that are still doing business with Texter and Eagle Football Holdings. So So how was your appointment last week, by the way?
It was good. Man, I don't know. It's just something going around. I mean, my whole house has it. I would not be surprised if you hear probably Jace like hacking up a lung in the other room.
Wow.
He's doing better too, but it's just that congestion kind of situation came through, of course, right before Thanksgiving, and then everybody in the house all at the same time. Everybody else got it, and yeah, it was just. And I'm like I said, I'm still not like fully there. It's been lingering, and it's really frustrating.
But, as you were trying to stifle a cough live on air.
Yeah, doing my best.
Trust me, I know about all those kinds of things. So, how was Thanksgiving with everybody battling what you're not supposed to?
It was actually really good. It was kind of low key because I guess the main event this year for our whole family is going to be Christmas, because it'll be the first time in probably 15 years that like the whole every bit of the family will all be in basically the same place together.
Oh wow.
So that'll be cool. But so this one, yeah, it was just, we kept it low key. We, for the first time ever, and I mean ever, and again, this is coming from a Pilgrim, so Thanksgiving is a big deal. For the first time ever, we cooked just enough food.
Wow.
And when I say just enough, I mean, we didn't have leftovers for 3 days. We had leftovers for like a day and a half. But it was nice because we didn't have, like 2 hours worth of cleaning to do after and everything else. I smoked a ham. It was really, really good. I was really happy with how it turned out. And we sat around, we watched the parade, we watched football. It was freaking cold. Obviously, we all know this. And so we just chilled. I didn't really do much of anything. It was nice. It was really, really nice. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
How about y'all?
For me, I spent more time in a car than I did actually eating, because we traveled to a centralized location, and it's 2.5 hours down. So like 2.5 hours there, and then 2.5 hours back, because I've got football the next day. So I can't on the day of, I can't drive from a location because you never know what could be going wrong on the roads. And so it's like drive down, eat, turn around, drive back, be here, and then go in for high school football. So we are still actually, I just finished the Boss's rice yesterday.
Nice.
So the Boss's rice dish that is the family tradition. That's the wild card that is attached. So finished that yesterday, and we still are working off of the bacon mac and cheese that she made too. So that's big. Literally, it's like a brick of bacon mac and cheese that we're playing with. While you were appointments and sick and all these other kinds of things, we now actually have a final two in MLS Cup, and Vancouver made it past LAFC. Then they make it past San Diego FC, and Messi and friends are ridiculous right now. So let's work forward. So last weekend, you have NYCFC, who came in shorthanded, and they go down to the erector set, and it was insane to see what we're seeing with the younger players. I believe Tadeo Allende is now being sought by teams in Argentina now, after what we've seen over the last handful of weeks, plus what we knew going in. So Allende, Silvetti, Messi dropping back a little further. You're getting 5 on the board. Suarez is on the bench, and it's like, okay, yeah, good luck trying to catch us. And then on the other side, you have San Diego, make it to the last game in the Western Conference, but Vancouver showed why Vancouver is the ish coming out of the West right now.
Yeah, it's funny because we've been, kind of doing our thing over on our YouTube, getting kind of ready for MLS Cup, and so obviously the conversation has been nothing but these two teams for the past few days, and man, I love watching Vancouver play, and I said the same thing about San Diego, and I really thought San Diego would give Vancouver a little bit more of a game, but I mean, they just showed why they are where they are. They deserve to be in the final for sure. And the biggest thing about that one is they were so clinical. We throw that word around a lot. And howdy, Abby. We throw that word around a lot, clinical. And I mean, to go to San Diego and kind of go up against a team that really, really, really likes to punch people in the face, and then kind of reverse Uno them. And every moment that they had in front of goal, they made it count. So when you're looking at 3-0 at the half, I mean, that's a tough hill to climb, even for a team that was scoring goals like San Diego was at certain parts of the season. So, you have to give Thomas Mueller credit, but you have to give everybody else, I think, even a little bit more credit. I mean, Sebastian Berhalter is playing the best soccer of his career. You have so many little pieces, Brian White that have stepped up and have been so amazing throughout the entire season, well before Mueller even got here. It's just fun to watch. And it's not that, I mean, you looked at LAFC. LAFC has a superstar, and then they have a star and a couple of other stars. Vancouver has a superstar and a bunch of dudes that just play really, really well together. Miami has all the superstars. Vancouver, I like that because they're just playing good soccer. And I mean, I go back to the first half against LAFC, and that was beautiful to watch how they were just playing through and around LAFC. Excuse me. And it was just fun. It was enjoyable. So I'm super hyped up about Vancouver going into this one. And I just want a fun game at the end of the day. But like Miami, I think if there was one team coming up against Miami in this final that would give pause to anybody, it would be this Vancouver side because they're just playing really, really good soccer.
Okay, so hydrate for a second. You mentioned Brian White, so we'll go ahead and discuss Brian White here. It was goal 1 of 2
Yes.
in the first half against the San Diego FC. Kanji and Danny on the call, Apple TV and MLS Soccer.
And Dreyer to work this back. Taken away by the Whitecaps. They work it across. The return pass. Kubas is in to the far post, and they're in. Brian White with the finish, and it's the Vancouver Whitecaps who strike first on the road. It's a 1-0 game. The man who scored 16 times in the regular season, an MVP candidate, you might say, in the first third of the year.
Players in recent weeks, in recent months, has been Kubas. Just watch his pressing, his intent. He wins the ball, but then this is brilliant. He plays the 1-2. He thinks he's got a bit of a difficult angle, so he said, you know what? I'm going to play to my centre forward, White. And it's absolutely magnificent midfield play. First of all, to win the ball. Secondly, to play the 1-2. And thirdly, to play to his centre forward. What a start for Vancouver. They've been on the front foot, and they have got the score, and they have got the goal that they deserve early on in this game.
8th minute, Brian White, and it came off of the pressure that you were talking about, where you have all of these guys pressing forward, trying to create opportunities, and you can't turn the ball over 25 yards from goal. When you see what Vancouver does, and it's 1-0 at that point with Brian White, who would end up with a brace in the first half. And you end up with an OG from Pablo Cisniega. It was 3-0, 3-1, your final. Chucky scores in the second half. But, yeah, I mean, Vancouver, and I don't know if it's just because Vancouver is where Vancouver is on the map, but I think they were ignored by a lot of folks this year because of, it's Vancouver, and everybody's looking at all the other shiny objects in the Western Conference. Hey, look what Mikey Veras is doing in San Diego. Not denying what Mikey Veras did in San Diego for their first season. Oh, look at LAFC. They brought in Young Son, and they've got Denny Bouanga. And it's like Vanni Sartini started this in Vancouver. Then you have Sartini leave. Jesper Sorensen comes in. They continue being who they are. And then they added Thomas Mueller. that's something. And Mueller just wants to be one of the guys. Literally, that's why he went there as opposed to other places that were interested. It's like, and I'm paraphrasing, bruh, I just want to be one of the guys. I think that was literally what he said when he was negotiating his contract. Bruh, I just want to be one of the guys. I'm not like above everybody. I want to be one of everyone. And you're seeing what Thomas Mueller is doing, rubbing off on them, especially in that LAFC match, persevering through that. We haven't even gotten the chance. You and I haven't had the chance to talk about 11v9 and the chaos of LAFC. You navigate that.
Yep.
You don't have Halbouni now going into MLS Cup because he's out for another 6 weeks or so. But you navigate all of that madness. Then you go on the road to San Diego. You put them, under the welcome mat initially. Then you stomp on the welcome mat and the glass shatters. And now they're in MLS Cup. And they're a dog north of plus 300.
Yeah. Like it was funny because when we were doing like our MLS Monday shows back around the summer, right? Like during the window, and you have the news about Son and Rodrigo de Paul and Mueller all coming to Major League Soccer. And we kind of were trying to sort through the effect that each of them would have for their respective teams. And I will be the first to say I was incredibly wrong about Rodrigo de Paul and saying that he was going to be the biggest, I guess the biggest impact player out of all of them, and the biggest impact player besides Messi that Miami had. And I was very, very wrong about that one. But on the other side of the country about Vancouver, we were kind of arguing like, oh, what are the goals and assists? What are the contributions going to look like for Thomas Mueller? And I kept saying, I don't think Mueller is going to be the guy that comes in and throws up like a 15-10 type season.
That throws up a 15-10.
Yeah. That's not him, even though he could do it. That's not what he is coming here to do. He is coming here to be the engine behind everything else and the metronome, and insert whatever object that you want to hear. But he is that. That's what he was at Bayern Munich. And he stepped right into Vancouver and he made a team that was already good. I mean, we were referring to Vancouver as the Supporter Shield leading Whitecaps for most of the season. But he comes in and he just elevates everything else around him. And so he didn't need to come in and start banging in goals left and right, though he had a few, right? Like, it's not like he didn't get on the board in terms of goals and assists. But I think what you see with what he's done to this team is, you go back to that first goal and in the San Diego match and how the turnover happened. It's not because they are just this insanely high pressing team. It's that they know when to press and they do it in unison and they do it in order and they know where everybody's going to go. And if you go back and I think some of the broadcasts, and it might've been the LAFC match, they have kind of rallied around Mueller as a guy who they're not going to make that effort to press and run that energy out until they know for sure he is doing it too. He's the trigger. And that's interesting to me because from a soccer perspective, most of the time your pressing triggers are from something on the other team, a wayward pass, a missed touch or a messed up first touch or whatever. And that's not what they're doing. They're basically looking to Thomas Mueller to say, all right, now we go. And then they all go. And that's impressive to me because it kind of puts the proverbial ball back in your own court in terms of when, and you don't have this kind of like, spider web of guys running all over the pitch.
Yeah.
I don't know. What was that?
I don't know. I thought you were just being demonstrative when it came to Thomas Mueller. And that's, but the thing is like leaders don't have to lead by yelling and by barking on the practice field.
Right. And that's, sorry, I don't know what that noise was that came through. I was like, what?
I heard nothing, sir.
Okay. Well, then I'll look crazy. There was some kind of noise. So anyway, I'm tripping. We'll continue. That was,
it's all the meds you're on.
Yeah, I guess. Wild feedback or something. Anyway,
got nothing.
So, but no, I mean, I was on one too. So anyway, Thomas Mueller, yes, he doesn't have to be the guy that's yelling and screaming from the center of the pitch. He doesn't have to do all that. He becomes quite literally, we throw the term around metronome a lot.
Yeah.
Like,
see, now that was the word that was literally in my head before you said it. I literally had metronome here and it came out there.
Yeah, there you go. See, so maybe that's what it was. It was trying to escape through my computer speakers to get to me.
Right there.
But yeah, I mean, I just he's taken a team that was already pretty disciplined and pretty solid and just elevated everything. Because you always run that risk, right? Like you bring in a guy who is stepping into a team that's already pretty good, and they could actually disrupt things and make it not effective, like we saw with Olivier Giroud. Like, just a guy doesn't fit, and that's not the case with Mueller. He comes in and he steps into this team and immediately just settles in. Doesn't try to come in and change a whole bunch. He just says, "Hey, I'm going to bring you my strengths from being the guy at Bayern Munich for the past 15 years and being one of the guys at the German national team for the past 15 years. And I want to help. I want to come in and just add what I can to this team." They're lucky to have him. And even more so, Sebastian Berhalter is lucky to have that guy as a mentor, because he may very well be inadvertently the reason that Sebastian Berhalter makes it to the World Cup.
And there's a question for Dell in the Twitch pitch. We'll get to it in a second. Here's Thomas Mueller, by the way, after the Western Conference Final. So you're talking about metronomes. You're talking about Thomas Mueller. Here's Thomas Mueller after the San Diego match, discussing the next steps, discussing that match, and discussing everything coming into this week as they head to the Erector set.
Oh, it's good enough. It's always good enough. Until now, the medical staff did a great job to get me in for tonight. And not only medical staff, we're a really good group. All the players and all the guys and are involved are doing a really good job. And yeah, I think we'll be fine until next week. Yeah, I have one more week now, and no, I'm very positive and optimistic to be in shape next week.
Your track record, I guess, is so good.
Yeah, but it's the past. Huh? That's the past. That's history. I want to keep going for sure. I know about my games against Messi, but I also lost against him, and it's not about Messi against Thomas Müller. It's Miami against the Whitecaps. So maybe they rely a little bit more on him than we do on me, because we're such a good group. You know what I mean? I try to keep it together, and I think the boys are appreciating it as well. But you could see it on the pitch today. We had some great actions offensively and defensively, and I'm very, very proud to be a part of this group.
And there you go. And to your point, it's almost like you were looking at my shot sheet about what I had available. And it was, but yeah, Thomas Mueller, once again, deflecting the obvious question about, it's because it's not Messi versus Mueller. And I know that a lot of folks are going to look at that and think that there's going to be some kind of immediate relationship where Mueller might be the one to try and slam a door or something like that. But immediately when that question was asked of Thomas Mueller, he completely and totally just brings it back to the team. He's happy to be a part of everything here, and he's focused on team, and it's not just one big name versus big name heading into the Erector set on the weekend.
Yeah, and I think for everything that we just said, I get what he was trying to make a point about there, because all season long it definitely has been Vancouver as just a good team. And he steps in and just kind of helps them out. But in these playoffs, admittedly, Miami hasn't been quite as reliant on Messi to be where they're at.
No shots on goal in the last game. But
he's still doing a lot of the work, getting them into very good positions. And then you have, guys like Silvetti, making runs. You have guys that are just stepping up in ways that Luis Suarez was not. And I don't mean that. Like, I say a lot of jokes about Suarez, and I don't mean that in a negative way. I just think the profile of player that you have up top now is what this Miami team needed, because look, Suarez he's dealing with very, very old and destroyed knees. He cannot make the runs. He's got the IQ and he can make the types of runs, but he's not going to beat anybody in a foot race anymore. And sometimes that's what this game very simply comes down to is you just got to beat a center back, get to a ball because you have the best player in the world putting the ball on a platter for you.
Mhm.
So you just got to get there first. And Suarez is not going to be that guy. So when the changes were made, when Javier Mascherano, who I have been very critical of throughout the regular season, and I will remain critical of about the regular season, I will give him all the plaudits and praise in the world for the changes that he has made, even if one of them was forced, but all the changes he has made in terms of the starting lineup going out of the regular season and into the playoffs, I got to give him credit where it's due because he's made the right moves to make it look easy for Miami to make it to this final.
Yeah, with Allende and Silvetti up top, you now can press folks out of the building.
Yep.
And you can have your 4-1-2-3-4. You can have your 4-2, 4-2, 4-2 or 4-3-1-2, whatever you want to call
4-3-1-2. That's
meaning if Messi drops back and turns into that deeper playing 9, however you want to phrase it, because that it could be a 5-3-2 if a Sergi Busquets drops back, so it could look like a bunch of different things. Yes, so whatever the graphic is, it's fine. The graphic is the graphic until the whistle blows. But you now have, literally Silvetti and Allende. It's like you sit there and it's like the old toy. You sit there, you wind it up, and you just sit there and it's like you plant it and then you just pull the trigger and they go. When you got two youngins that are one of them 19 and they're just, it's like, look, run, go get the ball and force turnovers on defense and we'll press them out of the building with those two up top and then everybody else that wants to come in from behind. And then when we want to release the hounds and go offensively, and we've been playing the third Allende goal all week because it's the shining example of a deeper Messi and the speed that's there with a Tadeo Allende. They're dangerous, and you've got to figure out where, if you are Jesper Sorensen, where you want to pick your poison. Are you going to try to pressure Messi and collapse on him and create positional gravity toward a Sergi Busquets behind, a Jordi Alba to your left? You're going to try to go over the top and challenge the back line that's going to get Tristan Blackman back in this matchup. The chess for me is going to be very intriguing.
Yeah, that's what I've been saying all week too. I'm excited about this final, and I think like last year, the final, I was like, I don't really want to see the Red Bulls play soccer anymore. And that was
You're not allowed to play soccer, sir.
But this year, I'm like, there's so many different ways you can look at this match, like from the I guess the absolute chaos point. This one as a neutral has every bit of like a UFC pay-per-view, like main event type feel to it.
Okay.
In my opinion.
I'm not a UFCer, so you'll have to explain your analogy.
Well, I mean, all right, Tyson and Holyfield type situation.
It's time.
Yeah, it's time. Yeah. So I think like it's got that feel to it. So just if you don't care about either one of these teams, if you don't care about Messi and or Mueller, it's still going to be a good game. It'll be a good soccer game. But for like the soccer nerds, like those of us that like want to sit here, and yes, I'm looping you into that. So sorry, I called you a nerd.
Dude, that was the clique I was in high school, so it's perfectly fine.
It works. All right.
We were the only ones that sat in the lunchroom waiting for first bell, man.
Yeah, that's how it goes. that's your first clue.
Mm-hmm.
I was right there with you.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I mean, I think from like a nerd, kind of soccer IQ chess match standpoint, this one has a lot to watch out for. And you've kind of seen both teams modify a little bit of like how they play in the playoffs compared to how they were in the regular season, which you have to do because it is the playoffs. Like this is a whole different season. Miami has, to your point, been pressing wildly. Woo. Like it is wild how hard they were pressing, especially New York City. It was like, they were all over them. They would not allow them to breathe.
Mm-hmm.
And you can afford to do that here in the playoffs.
Let that bastard breathe.
Yeah, just not let him go. But they do it very well. Now, New York City is not a team that, though they did give a pretty good account of themselves in the first half, they're not a team that's going to try to play through everything. And I think they started to get a little overwhelmed, which is what Miami wanted. and it finally, fell apart. That third goal kind of was it, and then it just all the crap rolled downhill from there.
Oof.
Vancouver, on the other hand, they can play through that, and they will probably try to in the beginning to set the tone and set the pace of the match. They're going down to Fort Lauderdale. They are going to be in front of a very hostile crowd. I think just like what they did in San Diego, they're going to want to slow everything down, and you don't have a better player than Thomas Müller to do that. So I think, yeah, as far as the IQ, the soccer, the chess match kind of situation, I'm curious to see the first 5 minutes, how both teams try to handle the ball. And then that next 15 minutes is like, that's the sweet spot for me. Cause I'm curious to see what obviously both coaches, but really Mueller and Messi do to kind of adjust and trigger different things and get other players involved.
Tyler Pilgrim from at Scarves and Spikes hanging out with us for another 10 minutes or so. And it's I am intrigued because of, what Messi can do, what Mueller has become as a part of the collective. And it literally is like the Borg, the soccer Borg being Vancouver, I guess. It's one of those things where you just assimilate individuals and they work on the collective and everything is fine and they just lay waste to everybody else. I am truly intrigued by this matchup for a bunch of different reasons, because we know the backline of Messi and friends. We know that some of them, depending on who starts, you could have walking yellow cards. You could force folks into disastrous decisions, and you have the speed and the ability for Vancouver. If they get behind that back line of Messi and friends, then they have to react. And we've seen what Chelo Wegan does when he can react sometimes, and Maxi Falcone when he reacts the way that he does sometimes. So, I'm interested to see if Vancouver can get behind the back line by going long and seeing the speed go that way, and then having Messi and the ground game working their way through with the imagination. It's like there are a bunch of different ways that you can see the offense happening for both of these sides. And I am truly intrigued by this.
You go back to the first goal that Vancouver scored against LAFC. They had played through and around LA all through the first half and made them look silly doing it. Actually, like the way Vancouver was playing in that first half was enlightening. I loved watching it. And we were kind of having these conversations because we were doing a watch along at the time about how they just look so good playing through. They've had opportunities, but then they didn't finish them. And then all of a sudden there's a long ball sent over the top, and it is a one touch, essentially, kind of chip over the top. And so you went from kind of lulling the other team in with the run game, essentially, and then all of a sudden you hit them with a good pass, and that was what made it 1-0.
It's like, who are you, Navy? All of a sudden,
yeah, out of nowhere,
you're running the veer, and then all of a sudden the tight end goes and runs a seam route, and you're like, where the hell did that come from?
Yeah, where did he go? what is going on? But whether that was by design, I do like to think it was, at least to a degree. I don't know that they thought it was going to come off that effective, because it was. I mean, everything about that pass was perfect, and the chip. But it does kind of, after 40 minutes or however long it was of doing the same thing and just trying to stay on top of a team that is playing through you almost effortlessly. It is easy as a defender to get lulled into a quote unquote habit of just trying to, push up a little bit because you're trying to
stop the run, cheat on the end. They're going to go guard, tackle, A gap. And it's like, okay, you cheat on the run. You think you're going to blitz, and then that time you blitz is when they go behind you.
They go, exactly. And then that's exactly what happened. And they went, and then all of a sudden you've got a guy going the other way, and you're like, oh crap, I got to get caught up to him. He's already behind you, and all he's got to do is get a touch to it, and then it's game over. And that's exactly what happened. So it's just little things like that. Like Vancouver, they do so well with it. It's the tempo. And the one control in that tempo is Thomas Mueller. And I will say, though, even if Mueller doesn't make it through the entire 90 or 120 or whatever, because he is kind of nursing something, Sebastian Berhalter has not been a slouch with a lot of this either. And he has been learning from the best. And also, he has apparently leveled up to a different level entirely.
He's a tremendous slouch. Come on, what are you talking about?
Yeah, exactly. With set pieces and free kicks. So that would be something else I would keep an eye on as well. If somebody gets fouled anywhere near the box, keep an eye out for what kind of trickery Vancouver might try to pull.
Okay, so Dell's question from the timeline. Do you think any of our American players will try and make a move in the offseason, or is it too tricky with the World Cup coming? I'm guessing when it comes to try to figure out, would you Dell, if I'm misunderstanding the direction of the question, is it players that are currently on the national team, would they be making moves back toward Major League Soccer and trying to come home, basically, so they would be closer to home as you're getting involved in a World Cup situation? I think that's where Dell was going.
Yeah, I think so. I don't think so. I know I just said I think so. I was agreeing with your interpretation of the question.
Yeah.
I don't think you would really have any. I mean, I think if I'm understanding the question right, I think
so. Yeah, here we go. So if USMNT players that are having a great season would move to Europe on a transfer in January, or could they do so on loan and they keep playing in the offseason? If Sebastian continues to do well, would he want to try and test the waters in Europe, or would he want to stay in Major League Soccer?
No, I would, in almost every scenario, think they would want to stay here. And I would even argue the reverse.
Yeah.
And that there are some in Europe that might actually want to be open to a move here. Obviously, the name Gio Reyna always gets brought up. Gio Reyna, I think, more or less is going to be a lock no matter what. But Gio Reyna eventually is going to have to decide whether he likes the bench more or playing for a club. And it's like that's one of those where I feel like if he were to just suck it up and come back here, he would be a locked-in starter pretty much anywhere he goes. And Pochettino has already made it very clear he values playing time over who you're playing for or what league you're playing in.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't think so. I think if anything, they would be looking to stay here where they've been effective, where they're getting pretty good minutes, and where they can continue to show. Because at the end of the day, this is the backyard of U.S. soccer, and Pochettino is looking very heavily in this area. And he's already shown he's brought in a couple of guys that, again, they weren't I mean, maybe they were on the fringe of getting minutes, but now you've got a few who've taken those minutes that he gave them, and they're very likely going to get called up for the actual World Cup roster.
Yeah. And we also got word yesterday, and obviously it's kind of drifting into today as well, that you're going to have some friendlies. You're going to have you some friendlies at Mercedes-Benz. So I am intrigued, nay, enthusiastic about the idea of having them here. So you get a couple of teasers heading into the cup that the world is chasing after in 26 at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. That's never a bad thing.
Never, especially whether you love or hate Portugal and the person that plays for Portugal.
And CR40, yeah,
that guy.
Just watch out for the elbows.
Yeah, elbows and
not that it would matter.
Yeah, but we'll see. And I think the other interesting part about that too is that'll be the first, I think, real international that will be played on the actual grass that'll be in the World Cup.
Yeah. Apparently it's not like the grass, but they're bringing in grass. So I think it's it's grass adjacent. It's summer grass adjacant, I think, is what it's going to be.
So what I was told, and this went up on the website a while ago, and I don't think anything has changed. I've not been told anything has changed, but whereas the She Believes grass and even the Copa America grass and the Club World Cup grass, like all of that, was only going to be here for a short time, so it was brought in, laid down, and kept alive. Seamed together. This is going to be brought in, different type of grass. The base is going to be slightly different, so it is actually growing as a full field and then they will have the UV lights pretty much being used constantly from whenever they put it in, January, February, whatever, all the way up through the World Cup. So it'll be an actual field of grass and not a whole bunch of stuff kind of patched together.
Yeah. Like we had for Club World Cup last year. Friday. How big is Friday for this generation of soccer follower fan, regardless of age? I mean, we're blowing it up, obviously, in the network because you should.
Mm-hmm.
In your mind, and from the conversations that you've been having, how blanking big is Friday in the grand scheme of things for U.S. soccer, for soccer here in the Southeast, for soccer here at U.S. Soccer headquarters in the Southern Crescent? How big is today, and can you oversell? I don't think you can, but can you oversell a day like Friday that means as much as it does?
No, you can't oversell it. I think it's kind of like, and I'll bring it to Atlanta in a different way. It's kind of like we had the NWSL 2028 announcement, right? Where it's like, oh, this is so exciting. But we knew good and well that after that really, really cool night in the announcement, there was going to be a lull in the news and in the excitement, just because that's how it goes. And Friday is going to be massive because it is going to be the moment that a lot of people, and I mean a lot of people, like millions, make plans for June and July. And you're going to kind of figure out, all right, like if you're a fan of this team, or if you're that's your country, whatever, you now know where you're going. And as a kid, kind of being able to see that if your family is planning on going to a match, or even if you're just doing a watch party at home, or like in the city or whatever, and you're a soccer fan, or you're even on the fringe of being a soccer fan, this is a moment now you have something to really look forward to, because you know who to watch for, what teams to watch for at specific locations. And so no, it can't be overdone. I think this should absolutely be the moment where US Soccer, FIFA pull out all the stops. And I mean, we've gotten the news about it's like some artists being there, and like Kevin Hart's going to be there for the draw and stuff like that. Like, that's cool. Bring the star power. But for me,
I'm going to hit mute. It's like, all right, let's go back to where we were.
Yeah. But I think just from a pride standpoint, it's just, this is a moment to show off to the world. Like, all right, everybody knows you're coming here. Everybody knows where you're going. And now we all get to find out who is going where. And so that's the final puzzle piece until everything starts. So like, this is it. Once this is done, then it's planning. It's figuring out where we're going to go, who we're going to see, what stadium we're going to be at, what hotel we're going to be staying in, a whole 9 yards.
How much money we're spending on said hotel.
Exactly. So yeah, just like you said, I mean, it's going to be, we're doing a lot of stuff for it, getting ready to release some stuff on Friday as well. But just the event itself, man, it's just exciting. It's a great time to be a soccer fan here.
So if you had your druthers, who would you like to see wander into Mercedes-Benz for one of the group matches? Who do you want to have come in for that cameo that you want to see? Because people have done the simulators, and some of the simulators have been wrong, but whatever. But I mean, if the simulators work, who would you like to have drifting into Mercedes-Benz Stadium come the summer, just so you can take Marta and go watch?
I mean, I would be lying if I didn't say the U.S. I would love to see the U.S. play in like the actual World Cup in my stadium.
Never heard of it.
I would also be very intrigued by Japan. Love to see Japan. And I think actually, and I would, there's two, not these could happen, but either Portugal or Germany.
Okay. So like in that knockout game, that's as a part of the pathway or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, I mean, in addition to the heavyweights, heavyweights are going to be dropping by. Give me a minnow. Give me a minnow, and give me Scott. Yeah. Give me somebody like Cabo Verde. Give me somebody like Uzbekistan. Give me somebody that's new, and then give me Scotland, because I want to hear in a closed Mercedes-Benz Stadium, I want to hear Flower of Scotland
Yeah.
just reverberate and bounce in that building, and what it would sound like to have Scotland and their supporters singing Flower of Scotland before a match in that building.
Yeah. And I'm with you. I would love to see like Scotland for sure, being part Scottish.
Oh,
Yeah.
No, I'm right there with you. Clan McPherson. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Not McGregor. Montgomery. Sorry, I'm tripping.
My mom was a senior archivist with the state of Georgia, and so
Okay.
her big thing is doing family trees. And so we go back to the Godwin family at the American Revolution coming in Massachusetts, and we also go back to Clan McPherson back in Scotland. So
Okay.
I'm half Scottish, half Scandinavian.
Okay. I don't have as much Scandinavian, but the Scottish, Clan Montgomery.
Okay.
So, there you go.
All
Learn
right.
something new every day. Hopefully we weren't like at war,
No, that would not have gone over well.
Right.
So what are the plans at SNS as we get ready for Friday?
So we'll have our show tonight. We've got over the course of the week, one's already out. We'll have a couple more coming out, but just kind of previews with some folks that cover Miami, folks that cover Vancouver, and then we have one to tie it all together with Jake Ziven, who'll be down there calling game with Twellman.
Mm-hmm.
So we had a good chat with him, and that'll be released. I think we got it set for tomorrow.
Okay,
so that's on the channel. Show tonight at 7. We have our Christmas merch.
Look at that,
which is great, by the way. It's look at that. I mean, it's just like the ugly sweater situation.
The ugly sweater mug.
And then Friday, Sid he's actually going up to DC for the draw.
Okay.
So he will be kind of giving some content articles and stuff from up there. And then we've got a World Cup hub that we'll have kind of coming out on Friday as well.
Good deal. All right. Well, go hydrate, go get your coffee, go get cup number 2, get better, because business is going to pick up toward the end of the week for something called the World Cup. As always, my friend, great to see you. Glad you made it through the holiday, and we'll catch up soon.
All right. Thank you.
There we go. Tyler Pilgrim, Scarves and Spikes. Hot tag.